Soramid namiyan, namid najeng yare. Soramid namiyan, sikbamba yahala. Greetings, one and all, and welcome to the Getty Museum's Fantastic Journeys, Myths, Magic, and Mysterious Monsters. I'm Baba the Storyteller, and I'm here to share a tale that has been told and retold for millennia. Comes from the many empires that, well, have risen, fallen, and, well, been erased from our memories from Africa's glorious past. I first heard this tale many years ago, decades and decades ago, in a small town called Ntomikorobugu, which is just outside of the capital city of Bamako in the country of Mali in West Africa. When I first heard this tale, it was told to me by, not kidding, a 5-year-old child. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I want to share this tale in a way that, well, it will have us, in a very traditional sense, doing this together. Because, well, in Africa, everything is communal. So I'm going to teach you a few words in the language of Bamana that you heard me singing, and then I'm going to want you to sing back. So listen carefully. It sounds like this. It goes, Ye Jalia. Yes, I want you to repeat the words back one more time. Ye Jalia. Alaleka. Jalia da. Okay, now I'm gonna put the words together, and when I put them together, I want you to sing them back, right? Here's what it sounds like when I sing them, when I put them together. Now listen, after me, I'll point to myself and then I'll point to you. Here we go. Ye Jalia, Alaleka Jalia da. That's what I wanted. Now, let's jump into this and enjoy this tale. Yate jalia ne yakale di bi jalia te korobom ga jali ke ninke jali ke bali urala ye yo kela ambia sinana kumbemba jali muzanin jale kelu ambia sinana Bula bula julula, ibola bula kora jaluma. Ambia sinana, kumbemba jali, muzanin jale kelu. Ambia sinana. Okay, after me. That song I taught you. After me. Ye jalia, alaleka jalia da. Ye jalia. Alaleka jaliada Ambia sinana Kumbemba jali muzanin jale kelu Ambia sinana Going back in time, way before Once Upon a Time, before anyone knew about that thing called Once Upon a Time, there was a small village situated between a river and a baobab forest. This small village, annually, they would make sacrifices to the great snake, Miniyamba. Now, to call Miniyamba a snake might be a mistake because, well, this snake was the size of a whale, and its body extended for miles and miles. And it lived in the dark baobab forest. And it only came out once a year. When the people would hear the screeching and the screaming of the snake, well, they would take half of their crops And then they would put them at the edge of the baobab forest. And then this great giant snake, the size of a whale, would come out from the forest, consume the crops, and then recede right back in to the forest. Yeah, Charlie, alaleka Charlie. This had been going on longer than anyone could remember. And at this time, the people had become accustomed to hearing the shrieks and the loud tones of this monster snake. They feared every time they heard it, and they knew that they needed to sacrifice. Well, there was a young boy born without the ability to speak. They called him Tarang. Tarang grew to become a young boy, but in the village, they didn't know what to do with him. So they put him to work herding the sheep. Yeah, Charlie, alaleka Charlie. Okay, don't forget, I want you singing that with me. Every time I sing that, I want you to sing back. Don't forget. Ambia sinana, humbemba jali mosaninjalekelu. Ambia sinana. So Tarang's job, the young boy who could not speak, his job was, well, to go out and to herd the sheep. They gave Tarang a bell in case anything would happen so that he could ring the bell because, well, he couldn't speak. And if he rang the bell, the people in the village, they would come running to see what was wrong. One day, Tarang was tending to the sheep as he had always done when one of them broke loose from the flock and headed straight to the baobab forest. Tarang was frightened, but he chased the sheep. He chased it into the baobab forest. And when he entered this dark baobab forest, he caught the sheep, and at the moment that he caught the sheep, he looked up, and staring down at him was the giant snake, Miniamba. Tarang's heart began to beat fast. He held on, he clutched the sheep, and all he could think, because he could not speak, all he could think was, please, don't eat me, don't eat me. And then he heard a voice in his head respond back to him. Why would I eat you? It was the voice of Miniamba. Without opening its mouth, the giant snake was able to speak. Tarang said, you would eat me because you are the fierce snake Miniamba, and every year we have to sacrifice to you so that you don't eat all of us. Miniamba said, would you eat me? Tarang said, no, I would not eat you. Miniamba said, I would never eat you. Why are you so afraid of me? And Tarang explained the screeching that the people heard and why they sacrificed half of their crops. Ambia sinana, humbemba jali mosaninjalekelu. Ambia sinana. Miniamba listened. And after a while, Miniamba said, I understand. Miniamba explained the screeching that you hear every year at a certain time of the year. I feel very sad. So what you are hearing is the sound of my sadness. Tarang understood. He and the giant snake Miniamba, they spent a lot of time talking together. They began to understand one another. And it was at this point that Tarang heard the people from the village calling his name. Tarang! Tarang, where are you? Night had come, and he was missing from the flock. Yeah, Charlie, alaleka Charlie. Tarang, he exited the forest accompanied by the giant snake Miniamba, and when the people saw him, the people were frightened. They froze. They saw this young boy standing next to this giant snake, Miniamba, who they had been sacrificing to all of these years. And so that they would not be afraid, Tarang began to pet and caress Miniamba's sides. The people saw that Miniamba was not a beast to fear. No. Now, every day that Tarang returned, he and Miniamba would spend the days together while he tended the sheep, and they would talk. Eventually, other children began to come, and, well, Miniamba began to give them rides on his back through the dark baobab forest, and the adults began to trust. In fact, they began to not fear Miniamba so much. Yeah, Jalia, Alaleka Jaliada. They began to not fear Miniamba so much. In fact, the next year when it came time for the sacrifice, they did not give half of their crops. They only gave a quarter of their crops. The adults began to need land to farm, so they began to clear from Miniamba's home the Baobab forest. And the next year, well, they didn't give any crops for a sacrifice. Yes, they were clearing away Miniamba's home. And there was no fear of the snake. They began to, well, push him further and further back. Some of the adults would even throw rocks at Miniamba to get him out of the way. Some began to beat him with sticks. So over time, Miniamba began to recede further and further. Until finally, Miniamba explained to his friend Tarang that he had to leave. He couldn't take this treatment. Tarang was weeping, but Miniamba taught him a song that if he ever needed him, he could sing this song, and that Miniamba would return to help his friend. But Tarang explained, I can't speak. I can't speak. How can I sing a song? And Miniamba just told him, try. And Miniamba disappeared. Time passed and young Tarang grew into a strong teenage boy. And one evening, a giant storm swept through the land. The river began to flood. The people had never seen this happen before. Yeah, Jalia, Alaleka Jaliada. The flood had come up to the ankles of the people and they were frightened. It made it up to the knees of the people and they were frightened. They didn't know what to do. They had never encountered a flood before. Tarang ran to the area where the Baobab forest had existed, and he stood there. He wanted to sing the song of the long-throated bird that he had been taught. He was trying to remember and trying to remember. He needed the help of Miniamba. All of the people needed the help, and then he remembered the song. And he began to sing the song from his mouth. Tige tige bala konen en fen kagala manjang. Kajugon go bala konen en fen kagala manjang. Tige tige. It was the first time Tarang had ever opened his mouth to say or sing anything. Tige tige bala konen en fen kagala manjang. Kajugon go bala konen en fen kagala manjang. He saw the long-necked bird fly overhead and he knew that he was going to get Miniamba for help. He kept singing and singing. Tige tige bala konen en fen kagala manjang. Kajugon ko bala konen en fen kagala manjang. Tige tige. And then in that moment, Miniamba appeared out of nowhere, right in front of Tarang. He communicated and he told Tarang, I will save you and your village. Miniamba opened his giant mouth and told Tarang to enter. The people from the village, they saw the young boy enter the mouth of Miniamba, and they stopped. Tarang could yell now, come, come, he is here to save us. And little by little, people began to enter the mouth of Miniamba until the entire village had entered. Yeah, Jalia, Alaleka Jaliada. Miniamba swam through the flood, and it seemed like he had swam for a very long time, the people safe inside of his mouth. Until he came to a clearing and he opened his mouth, and the people began to walk out into the most fertile green land they had ever seen. On one side, there was a river, just as before, and on the other side was a giant baobab forest. When the people exited Miniamba's mouth, he receded back into the forest, just as he used to do in the old land. The people were so happy, they were so overjoyed, they had a new home. They began to plant and work as they had done before. And the land was so fertile, they had no problems. And the first year, they went back to making sacrifices. Half of their crops they put at the edge of the forest. Yeah, Jalia, alaleka Jaliada. But this time when they sacrificed, they did not sacrifice out of fear. No. When this time they sacrificed because they were gracious, they were grateful. And Miniyamba accepted, understanding now. Yeah, Jalia, alaleka Jaliada. Ambia sinana, kumbemba jili muzamin jelekelu, ambia sinana. Taring and Miniyamba were able to remain friends. And over the years, their friendship grew to the point where Tarang was able to teach all the villagers of the song. So when they approached for sacrifice, now they would sing the Tige Tige song. I hope you've enjoyed this chapter of the Getty's Fantastic Journeys, Myth, Magic, and Mysterious Monsters. Be sure to check out the link to join Austin DeLuga Liston's workshop, inspired by my telling of the story of Miniyamba. At the Getty website, you can also find links to 2 other stories and accompanying workshops. Look out for the wonderful Michael Katz telling an Eastern European tale and the enchanting original Shadow Puppet Tale by Maura Leo McDonald.